Hi, I'm Cheryl Paul with Instill Yoga Therapy, and I am here to talk today about how I work with people in hopes to answer the question for you why you would want to do yoga therapy. So, I have three sort of broad stroke ways that I work with people, depending on specific challenges that they come in through my door with. So, one of the most common things that people talk to me about is persistent pain. So whether they have an injury that just keeps coming back and activities will lessen and the pain goes away, activities increase and the pain comes back, that scenario, or something that's just across the board continuing to get worse over time. These people have sought out many different treatments and received some relief from those, but not sustained relief. So the problem will keep coming back, even though they might have a few days off from the pain after a treatment. So the way that I address persistent pain that might be a bit different from what you've experienced with other practitioners is that I don't look at the pain as being the problem. So the pain is an expression of problem in the body. So it's an expression of some sort of imbalance. And what I work with you to do is to figure out what that imbalance is and have the body start to move in a more easeful and sound way. So I look at the activities that you love, the things that you do, or the things that you spend most of your day doing. And then we start to design a program that makes sense to you and increase the proprioception in your body, which is a felt sense of where you are in space and a felt sense of the different muscles through your body, so that you can start to do exercises that strengthen the right muscles rather than getting exercises that are meant to exercise your glutes. And you wind up doing them just using, for instance, your hip flexors again, because your hip flexors are overused, likely a cause of some low back tension and hip pain, and you use them for everything. And so if someone just gives you clamshells without you having a proprioception to the glutes, then you're going to do your clamshells with primarily those hip flexors. So we try to parse that out for you, and I start to teach you how to feel the different areas of the body and how to move them in a way that is supportive, and then the pain goes away because the imbalance is rebalanced. So that's kind of the first and most common way that I work with people. The second broad stroke way is what I would refer to as maybe the emotional body. So these are people that come through my door that feel like they're just angry all the time, or too busy to put any thought into anything. They feel like the days are rushing by. They feel tense. Their whole body feels tight. They often feel like they have to stretch. And I often hear them say that every night they go to bed feeling bad because they were short with their kids, or they didn't have that conversation that they really wanted to have with their spouse or a parent or a coworker. And there's a lot of regret, and this regret builds up, and then the tension builds up. And so it just becomes this never-ending cycle of tension and not being able to live up to the you that you want to be. I shouldn't say live up to, but not being able to express yourself the way you want to express yourself that feels authentically you. And so much like the first way that I work with people, there is a heavy movement component to this emotional aspect as well, mindfulness and movement. So you start to feel when resistance comes up in your body. What does resistance feel like? And then taking that moment to pause and feel what is beneath the resistance. Because typically there'll be an emotion we don't really want to feel, because we might be afraid of what will happen if we express that emotion. So everything across the board becomes tension because we really are nervous of expressing. And then when you start to become aware of the times when you're resisting something, you can relax, breathe into that, really be authentic in what it is that you're resisting, and then make a choice. So rather than it being a knee-jerk reaction all the time to just run away or get angry or push someone away, you get to actually make a choice. This is what's happening right now. What would be a better way of being for me would be to do X. And then the third way that I work with people is sort of under the broad spectrum of stress. So they feel like, you know, again, there's a lot of tension with that, an inability to quiet. Usually there is some issues with sleep, headaches, stomach aches, digestive problems. This can all come out of being in that chronic state of stress and really not knowing how to wind down. So in that scenario, we might work more with breathing. So we'll start with, you know, the biomechanics of breathing, what we can start to release through the rib cage, the diaphragm, the movement that we want to nurture so that breath becomes more available, and guided relaxations so you can learn to rest deeply and really settle the system down. And often when we start with that scenario, system starts to settle down, then we can start into some movement so that you get to find movement that is coming from a place of ease rather than, again, that chronic, tight, batten down the hatches sort of feeling all the time. So those are the three, like I said, broad stroke ways that I might work with you. And then they are not mutually exclusive. They can overlap with each other. And sometimes something that doesn't quite fit into any of those boxes might come up in a session. So hopefully after listening to this, you would know whether or not yoga therapy might be something that can benefit you. And I would be happy to hear from you. You can send me an email at cheryl@instillyoga.com or give me a call at the Purcell Integrative Health Center, and I would love to get in touch. Thanks so much.